Get this on the Triple M network.
Welcome aboard. It's myself, Tony Martin.
Hello, Tony.
Ed Cavalier's here. He's working on a new segment.
Now, that frightens me.
And pushing the buttons, Richard Marsland. No, Richard, you're playing the wrong cart.
It's putting the cart before the horse.
Oh, very good.
You're happy with yourselves, aren't you?
Very happy with that.
Radio gags. Listeners, they spent probably 6 minutes working that out.
We'll be back at the same time tomorrow.
Fantastic.
We're not winding up yet. Still 3.5 weeks here to go at the Get This desk. So many requests coming in for things people want to hear, not just over the next 3 weeks, but on our last ever show.
Oh, man.
What are we going to hear then? That Warwick Kappa business.
Oh, the phone calls. Richard's prank calls.
That was brilliant, Rich. We'll get
Best
to
thing ever.
probably on the 23rd. That'll get a trot out. But we really do have to contact Mr. Kappa himself. Start dialing now, Rich, because we couldn't get him yesterday.
Well, his phone rang out. I shuddered to think what he was up to. But,
Let's see. All right, here we go.
third time lucky.
How busy can he be?
Those videos don't make themselves, Tone.
They don't send themselves either.
That's true.
Yeah,
Oh, is that Warwick Kappa?
maybe. Who's asking?
Tony Martin, Ed Cavalier and Richard Marsland from the recently axed Get This on Triple M.
Recently axed. You should have got me on last week and it wouldn't have been axed, you idiot.
That's what I said at the meeting. Warwick, straight to business. Where's the video that Ed Cavalier ordered a few weeks back?
It's coming out soon. It's going to be excellent.
I know it may well be excellent, Warwick, but where is it? I've ordered it weeks ago. When is it coming out?
Coming out today. It's on all Sexyland video shops around the world in Australia.
Simultaneously.
So
Yes!
the one that I've ordered on your website, I now have to go into Sexyland to pick up. It's a great system.
Well, you need the exercise, mate.
Fair enough.
Heard that. It goes for 70 minutes and it took 65 minutes to do my hair and makeup.
Ed's having to make do with dial-up on youporn.com.
And Warwick, what is the highlight of that 70 minutes?
Probably me playing with myself and the toys.
Yeah, I think that's what David Stratton said on the movie show. He gave it 2 thumbs up.
Probably the money shot, having my hearts waxed.
Yeah, lovely, lovely. Now, how's the campaign for Mayor of the Gold Coast going? We are right behind it down here at Get This.
Everything's going well.
Yep.
I'm campaigning for mayor.
What are your policies, Warwick?
I've got a few policies. I'm going to lower taxes. The rates are too high.
Oh, you're not having a bit of Me Too action, are you?
I'm going to clean up schoolies, get rid of parking meters.
Yes.
Even though I used to be a meter maid, that was only for 2 days. I got a bit over that.
And what about our idea of just wearing the meter maid gear with a sash with Mayor written on it for the entirety of your term in office?
I like that one. That could work, Tony. You, Tony?
Yeah, that's right.
I love you like a brother when I'm from Tasmania. I'm also going to put a lot of mirrors on the Gold Coast so you can do your hair at the traffic lights.
Consider it, that is.
Warwick,
Because I was the most beautiful footballer in the world, Tony. You know that.
we've heard that. I don't know where I heard that, but I did hear
Christy's
that.
shaking her head here. She's not happy with me.
Where's Yobbo's Up the Guts, Warwick? What's happened to that?
Yobbo's up the guts. Well, it's been in the pipeline for 6 months. Jacko's finished it.
Yeah. Oh,
He's
hang
going to
on.
bring it out in January.
So you've left the editing to Jacko, have you?
Oh, so yeah, good luck. Jacko's going to be the next fluffer on our porno.
Oh, he's the next fluffer on your porno.
Yeah,
That is.
yeah.
Wow.
Me and Christy.
Footage has to match, remember?
So,
Jacko's that ugly, he'll make a train take a dirt road.
now hang on, you're saying there's a second porno on the way?
Yeah.
You didn't use all your material in that 70 minutes.
No, it's actually a threesome. It's me, my hand in the mirror.
That Meryl T is as good as yours!
I can't believe how funny I am today. I'm just sitting here with Christy to give me a massage, and I'm giving her one, and I'm feeling good, Tony.
Okay, I hope the cameras are rolling.
Yes, I've got a bit of a bulge in the pants, and I'm feeling good.
Now, that's a slogan for Mayor. Warwick Kappa. I got a bulge in the pants and I'm feeling good. Vote one.
Yeah, thanks to Triple F Kappa and all Sexyland video shops.
Yes.
And the slogan is, Tony, let us stick it up you. Better us than some other prick.
Well, that's right. We heard how Jeff Fennick described you. Did you hear that clip?
What did he say, the arsehole?
The guy that was in that magazine getting up his missus.
He can't even talk. And I love you all.
Hey, now, Warwick, we have to ask...
No, I like Jeff. He's not a bad guy. I've done some shows with Jeff.
Warwick, as I mentioned, we're out of work now. I mean, are you looking for any deputy mayors up on the Gold Coast there?
I actually am. I actually just bought porno companies, Red Hot Dancer, we might need some more people.
Hang on, Warwick. Between the existing porno tape, the new one you've mentioned, and buying the porno company, I mean, when are you going to have time to show up for work at the mayor's office?
That's true. Lucky it's next year.
Okay.
There's no rush. Yeah, but it's going well up here. I'm at the Marriott at the moment, having a Chardonnay, looking over the water, so life's quite good at the moment.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, good to see you working on those policies.
Yeah, get out the 16 videos and get a copy and do yourself a favour. It's fantastic viewing.
Thanks, Warwick. Good to talk to you.
And thanks for all the fun you've given us over the last 2 years, buddy.
I love you like brothers, but I am from Tasmania.
Fair enough.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
TripleFCapital.com.
Did you get that address?
Okay.
Yep.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
So when we first called him, he was lying at home getting a massage from Christy, and he was giving her one.
Yeah,
but
right.
later on, they'd moved it to the Marriott and having a Chardonnay.
Over the course of a 4-minute interview.
Yes. And when you're doing promotion for the video that's available entirely around the world and Australia, things can get very busy. You forget where you are.
I love how I've ordered a video, and now I have to walk into Sexyland and go, just so they can see my face. G'day, guys. I'm here for the Warwick Kappa. No, I won't take one of those, but thank you for asking.
Get in the queue. The ARIA winners, weren't they fantastic?
Oh, yeah.
The sneaky sound system.
They were sneaky as.
I think we've got a clip of them here.
Ben, turn off your projector!
Sorry, is that
That's why they're on the top.
I finally worked out the lyric before that.
What is it?
I've got lots of pictures in my head.
I don't know. I wouldn't know it unless you sung it.
Better not. I just enjoy hearing Tony say the phrase sneaky sound system.
Yeah.
It's so much
Which
fun.
I still don't, those lyrics don't make any sense unless you sing them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Well, I will after the show.
Damn it.
Of course, get this winding up in 4 weeks' time. So many emails coming in. Nicole Murray says she's going to miss the show. She says, I spend my day with a 4-year-old, and having the ridiculous banter of Get This makes a change from talking Spider-Man, doodles, giant poos, and all things boy. I'm sorry, that just sounds like our program.
Man, we've got Dobby and a giant poo today as our phone
Shit.
topic, so we're going to have to...
Doodles coming next.
we're going to change some stuff.
And then Scott Edgar's going to be here, so there'll probably be a fair bit of Spider-Man talk.
Hello to all the 4-year-olds listening.
Yes.
Why not have a biscuit? That's all I know about them. They want biscuits.
Hey, what about the listeners? What about their endless emails which never fail to delight and amuse down in the office downstairs when there's nothing in the papers?
No.
You just turn to the listeners. They contact us via the internet.
The what?
Now, people in the new time slot might not be aware of the internet.
No, I'm lost.
And how email works. We've got a newsreel that explains.
Welcome to the remarkable modern world of the internet, or the information superfunnel as it's known to its many hundreds of users. At any one time, literally dozens of messages are whizzing about informing people all over the world that their penises are too small. So too the literally several emails we receive every month via the computermatic info causeway we call the internet, and which hundreds and hundreds of naked, sunken-eyed Ukrainian harlots call home. Once we receive your message, the Triple M Evaluation Task Force quickly establish whether your communique has the necessary ingredients for broadcast. Sizzle, traction, cut-through, recall, likability, familiarity, market friendliness, tits. Once the email has been rewritten to our exacting specifications, everyone involved sits back and focuses their attention by listening to nothing but Nickelback for 6 straight hours, and then James Blunt's Wise Men and both sides of Toto 4. Once the rigorous evaluation process is complete, only the most thoughtfully constructive missives are submitted for Tony, Ed, and sometimes Richard's approval. So here's hoping that you, the enterprising wireless listener and email sender of, will have approached the dauntingly lofty standards demanded of you by the broadcaster's Alan Jones says he loves gentlemen. The broadcaster's Alan Jones says he loves gentlemen.
Oh, thank you very much. And the senders of have been going nuts lately. Listen to this, Tony.
Who wrote this one, Tony?
Well, this guy says, 1 up the bracket for T. Martin for never reading an email of mine out. That's from Zazov, Rudy. Yeah, I'm not going to say Rudy Zazov on the radio. That's not going to happen.
I get it.
Come on, Zazov. Better luck next time.
Zaza.
Who else is
crazy
emailing?
cat.
Oh, what about Carolyn Forster?
Okay.
She's in love with us, apparently. You know why?
Why?
Because laughter is the quickest way into a lady's undercrackers. That's according to Carolyn Forster.
Crackers.
Quickest way into the Gooner as well, apparently.
Yep, and the gooch.
Wait a second.
Gavin Wood writes on petitionspot.com, without get this, I don't bar up. Come on, Triple M. That makes no sense.
That's the kind of mystifying reference that's seen us.
All right, Regina Enos writes in and says,
What's he got to say, or she?
last night I saw Galen on television advertising a something that sends you a something. It's good to see he's really making something of his life, despite being born an alien horse. Here's another one. Mark Roberts writes in and says, I don't know what all this problem with how Richard lives his life. You guys go on and on about it. How does Richard live his life?
yeah.
It's clear. It was made a documentary by Rolf de Heer called Bad Boy Bubby.
Oh, right. He does own an awful lot of Glad Wrap.
David Reisman writes in and says, I'm pretty sure that Richard spends all of his time wrestling senior citizens. He'll only let them out of a full Nelson when they cry, "You're the king, Marsland. You're my king." And finally, Mark Greenwood writes, Richard lives in a ditch filled with whiz fizz and pasta sauce. There, settled.
Yes.
They're getting closer.
Yeah, they're zeroing in.
Well done. What about Chris Payhor? Now, I think he was the man who added a C and B to Marsland's head on our Wikipedia page. So he's looking for a prize, Nikki. Did he ever contact you? We had about four people who all claimed they did the C and B.
Plenty of prizes for everyone for quality work like that. If anyone can do it to him while he's sleeping, then they're really in line for something.
Anyway, Chris Payhor is giving us kudos because he claims Triple M's Get This prompted me to read Nikolai Gogol's Dead Souls. Can't remember that. Was that our book of the week here at Triple M?
Wow.
Dead Souls. What about this? You've got Dick Fish. Now, I know that's a real name. No jokes, please. He's saying, have you got any copies of Illegal Download left? Now, this was an album we did last year. Only 1,000 copies were stamped. But it's called Illegal Download. So the idea was hopefully someone will put it up on the internet for free. Nobody's thought to do it yet, so Triple M have gone and done it themselves.
If you go to triplem.com.au, follow the links through the Get This page, you can download not only the album, but the album cover art as well.
That's right, so you can make your own illegal version of Illegal Download now.
And the best part is, no picture of Richard.
It was before the white ending really started to kick in.
Really
this album.
good-looking cover.
There is a picture of me on the Triple M site, though, that you have drawn, a caricature of me that is meant to, I believe, be put on to women's...
No, it's meant to be on a gentleman.
Undercrackers?
If you're a gentleman with a petite seat, you draw it on your undercracker.
Yep.
If you get it into the zoo's booty bank, you win a prize. Yes, promotions, win a prize. I said it.
We've had no luck.
No luck. And we've been,
no single entry.
And we've been scouring that booty bank, so we're throwing it open. Women... If you're listening...
Oh, right now it said anybody who gets in there.
And I know you're not, but if any one of our listeners have met a woman in the past, which I doubt, then if you can convince one of them to draw it on and get it into the booty bank, you will win. That's right, promotions, win. All right, let's see, Nikki. What are we going to give away? You can have...
Here we go.
Some whiz fizz and pasta sauce.
No, oh yeah. A night in the ditch with Rich.
What is that?
That'll turn things around. What are you talking about? No, women. It's not just all fans of Nikolai Gogol listening to this show. There's women wearing undercrackers.
That's true.
Aren't you listening closely?
Right.
All of us waiting for, well, the final episode of The Sopranos. Few of us have had a look at the preview tape.
Yeah.
How would you describe it, Rich?
I reckon it was fantastic.
Yeah.
That final scene.
It's never going to get to the Wonder Years territory.
Well, the bit where...
Winnie and Kevin doing what, Rich?
Well, you think that's the final episode. That's the final episode of the first season. No, that's the final episode of the first season.
No.
The final episode of the entire show is Daniel Stern, the voiceover, talking through what happens in the next few years. Kevin's father actually dies a couple of years later.
Yeah, not the final scene. At the start of the final episode. At the start of the final episode, they're all up in the barn, and then later on it gets to that boring bit with the parade.
There's that thing.
Yeah. I hate all that stuff.
Well, the bit where James Gandolfini flies off in a helicopter and Eddie Falco has written the words goodbye in rocks. Quite touching.
Very touching.
We're up Talkback Mountain. What is our topic, Ed Cavalier?
Well, today, Tone, we're playing... As if.
As if?
Yeah.
How does this work?
Well, you see something and you don't think it's entirely true.
Oh, okay, so an example would be comedy, laughter. It's a way into a lady's undercrackers.
Have a look at this bloke. I shielded victim, says flag-draped rioter. He was photographed wearing the Australian flag as he attacked a man on a train during the infamous Cronulla riots in Sydney.
Oh, right.
But now this bloke's saying that he was trying to protect the guy getting attacked.
Oh, that old one.
From all the crazy rioters. Now, in a statement, he said, I was out for my morning flag drape walk when I saw a gentleman of Middle Eastern appearance on a train, and I thought I might just let him know how happy I am to see him with a couple of friendly love taps around the head and shoulders. But before I knew it, this bunch of lunatics are getting all rioty. It was lucky I was up the front throwing punches, or he may well have been really hurt.
I love it when people get a bit righty.
I know when a riot's attacking me, I'm always like, where's the guy up the front? The one who started it. Oh, thank goodness he's here, protecting me. Thanks, bro.
See, that's like the bloke who, well, we meet him every week in the newspapers, the man who's caught downloading something he shouldn't be off the internet and then claims, oh, I was just doing some research.
There it is.
It's a project I'm working on. There is no such thing as police corruption in the Philippines.
Oh, really?
I don't know. There's an interesting article in the paper this week. Listen to this from Manila. The Philippines is giving the tough image of 110,000 police officers a friendly makeover. They've been ordered to stop wearing so much expensive jewellery to work to remove suspicions that they were corrupt. How much jewellery are these blokes wearing?
Well, I think I saw when I was in Malaysia, isn't it, Tone?
It's in Philippines.
Oh, in the Philippines, and I was there, and
Yeah.
I did some littering, and a man being held aloft in a throne told me to pick it up, and I thought, I think something's going on here. I didn't know if cops can afford thrones.
When you see a guy directing traffic in like a dress made out of gold American Express cards. When you see a parking officer with an entourage,
Yes.
that's when you know they're corrupt.
Something's going on.
Okay.
All right.
You were in the Philippines recently.
Yeah, I wasn't.
It could be anything.
Could be anything.
Mr. Marsland.
Today, tonight, doing a show without some cross-promotion.
Has it happened?
Okay, this is last week.
Yeah.
And they did a follow-up story on a little sick girl.
Yep.
And you think, well, that's interesting that they followed a story.
Fair enough.
What a wonderful, triumph of the spirit this story is.
Very responsible.
How can they possibly follow this story up? Have a listen.
Just a few weeks ago, 9-year-old Imogen Alton was waiting for a double lung transplant of a kind that had never been performed in this country. Now she's a picture of health and enjoying every moment at Dancing with the Stars.
Nicely done. And and I have timed this story out, right? And they sent this little girl to Dancing with the Stars. Obviously, she's a fan, but she had good fun. And so I timed the story out. It was like 3 minutes 20. And they spent about 1 minute 10 with the girl. It was about 35% of the story was about the little girl.
Right.
The rest was about Today Tonight.
David Hobson, meanwhile, was just sad to see Elka go.
She could be an It Takes Two possibility. She's got quite a good voice, actually, if you're looking for...
Well, we don't do cross-promotion on Today Tonight.
Yes, the man has been kept hostage in a Lebanese prison for the last 15 years. On emerging, he said, I can't wait to see the premiere of Ugly Betty on the 7 Network.
Hi, Tori.
Hi.
What's going on?
Oh, just doing the ironing.
Good call.
The ironing? Come on.
No, my as if is 21-year-old guys who watch the OC and they say they watch it just so they can mock it when you know they really love it.
Oh, really?
Really,
Yeah.
Tori?
Misha Barton, good move leaving that series. Has she done a Caruso?
Well, who knows what she does now.
Yes.
Yeah, good call, Tori. Good call.
She's, I think, going to be going into the movies. I don't know. Possibly just a series of dresses.
All right, Tori. Good stuff. Good stuff. Nice to talk to you. Hello, Leanne. How are you?
Britney Spears' mother writing a book about raising kids.
Wow. Is that really happening?
It's happening, yeah.
What kind of stuff has she got?
I don't know what's going to be in it, but it'll be interesting.
How to get kids to accept those Percodan pops that they really don't want?
That's right. Baby's first rehab, that kind of thing.
And listen, can I just say how devastated I am that you blokes are going off?
Oh, thanks very much.
That's all right. It's cool because we're all, as I say, we're going to be doing it on cruise ships, Leanne. So
is that right?
look out, fair princess. Here we come.
I even lied on my Gallup poll, you know, the Morgan poll that we get you to do.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And they say, you know, what radio stations do you listen to?
Yes, yes.
And because I got 4 kids, so I can't listen to you all the time.
Right.
Well,
But I
come
lied
on.
on it. I lied on it and said I listen to you all the time, and it's still getting rid of you.
There you go.
Even, despite your campaign of lies. Thank you for going into bat, Leanne.
Where's
Great,
the gratitude?
great
Thanks,
job.
Leanne.
Nice talking
Cheers.
to you.
I've gotta
Good
say,
on you.
lots of girls calling today. Is it possible that we're appealing to the opposite sex finally?
I don't know about that. Get this.
Woba tides anyone who has the hide to criticise it.
Thank you, Rex Hunt. Woe betides, indeed. Look, it's Scott Edgar.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Yes, g'day.
Good to see you.
How have you been, Ed?
I'm great, and I'm very happy to see you. It took about 40 seconds after you got in the door that we were talking Toto's Africa, so I was very happy with that.
One of my favourite songs. You know, Tripod used to do a cover of that, an a cappella take on it.
A cappella?
When we started out, yeah.
Who did the keyboard? Like the...
Yeah, it's that easy. You just do it with your mouth.
Amazing.
All right, try not to mention that band again because it will go off.
Yeah,
you
they'll
get
be
one
in here.
one free one, and then suddenly Rosanna kicks in.
Toto.
There you go.
Get out of here, you lot.
Instantly. Now, you were, of course, pointing in wonderment at our producer's stomach, which houses a tiny child, we're told, unless it's an elaborate ruse involving pillows that's been going on all year. Nikki
Very
is
exciting.
due to give birth to somebody exactly 2 weeks after we finish. How's the way she's timed it? Exactly.
She's very clever.
You've been making some calls late at night, haven't you?
I think that's the reason we've been axed.
That's it. Backroom politics.
Anyway,
Nikki.
we're talking about that, and then suddenly you happen to mention what you're having some sort of child.
I'm having some form of child.
Bloody hell!
Congratulations. Yes, my wife's taking most of the credit.
Okay.
But yeah, I found out whilst we were in Edinburgh. I found out about 2 days after Tripod got to Edinburgh, which meant there was about 6 weeks before I could actually get home.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so
But
this
you
is
don't
the
have to-
touring lifestyle, isn't it?
But you don't have to do anything, do you?
Well, no, I
mean,
have
your
to.
work is done
I
for the
have
moment.
to think up things to do.
Oh,
I have
okay.
ways to be involved. I'm pretty sure there'll be things I can do, making Milos and things like that,
Oh.
foot rubs and whatnot. You know, that kind of is.
Nikki's nodding. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
And of course, in comedy, what happens is if you're having kids, most comedians will say, "Oh, yeah, that's got to be 20 minutes of new. 20 minutes of new care, surely."
Yeah, if we can find the time to actually write the songs, then maybe. Yeah, we've Yanni's got 2 kids. He's got a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old, or thereabout.
Wow.
And yeah, we've actually only written one sort of thing about his little ones.
All right.
And it's about how we've not written anything yet about his little ones. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
What about Gatesy? Is he dragging the chain in that department?
He's got a lovely, lovely woman. He's got a lovely woman.
Good on him.
And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Won't we?
Okay. When the child is of age that it can understand things like Nintendo and you know, Doctor Who, what sort of skills and you know, things will you be passing on? Do you think?
Skills are right out.
Skills?
For a start,
Okay, good.
no skills.
Songwriting, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I plan to skip all the children's literature and go straight to the unabridged version of Lord of the Rings, I reckon.
Wow, that's with the songs left in.
Yeah, with the songs in.
The elfin songs.
I do a pretty good line in just making up the tunes as I'm reading it out loud.
Okay, not bad.
Right.
That's pretty good.
And speaking of making up tunes, you've got a new band. Or is this a new band? Or
It is, well, it's newish. We've been playing around Melbourne for a couple of years now in pubs and whatnot.
The Universe?
Yes.
And you've got an album, beautiful artwork. You do all your
Thank you,
own.
mate. I do my own artwork.
Yes. And what is the? Obviously, we can't play any of the Universe today, sadly.
Well,
But-
we're no machine translations. Who have you got this week? Cold Chisel. We're definitely no Cold Chisel.
Well, Thirsty Merc coming up.
Thirsty Merc.
I don't think you fit into that category.
No.
What is the Universe sound for
Look,
people
I would,
wondering?
I would say it would be. I guess you could describe it as jazzy, acoustic, adult, contemporary pop. Not nerdy at all. Jaunty. Jaunty is another word that often gets mentioned.
All bases covered. Do the other members of Tripod come along and stand at the back of the gigs? And
They come when it would be really rude not to.
No, okay.
On that.
Can I get out of this?
Scott, I'm intrigued by the song title "Trapped in a Constable."
Yes, yes. Well, that is the opening gambit. It refers to the landscape painter Constable.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, a metaphor for suburban life. Of course,
Great film clip, though. Hey, great film clip. Know what I'm
It's a
saying?
film clip in the making.
Hey, no, wink.
we'll see.
What about Right Up the Turner? Who's that? What's that about?
Turner Cops are mentioned in the very same song, actually. I have, in fact, written a pop song comparing the two.
Okay, we've already had Go Goal in the first hour. We're keeping the Triple M demographic on board. You were at the Arias, I hear.
I was at the Arias.
Yeah.
We had a lovely time. We, in fact, finally met Rodney Roode.
Oh, he's dropped the name Angus Sampson
yeah, there
style.
we are. Yeah, that's right. Met him up close. Rodney Roode, quite a polite guy.
Oh, now-
actually, it turns out in real
All
life.
right, so it's
Yeah.
all an act.
Not that rude. Yeah.
Despite the fact he was on his I Don't Give a Rat's Ass tour for 3.5 years.
Just after your mum's bum wound up.
That's right.
Straight on Don't Give a Rat's Ass.
And of course, his most recent tour, and indeed the album that you guys were up against,
Frog Sack.
There it is.
Yeah, which is a good name for an album, you've got to admit.
Sure. And so what was the shop talk?
I didn't get a chance to really partake in the whole conversation with Rodney. Yoni and Rodney really sat down and downloaded, but at the time I was trying to get Gatesy into the building because he had just missed his plane that day.
Right.
So Yoni and I had to actually go up the red carpet as a couple, which was lovely.
That is
which was
gorgeous.
nice. Yeah, I was into that.
There was a telltale baby bump on you as well, I hear. Tongues were wagging.
I was trying to wear a sort of Empire Line dress to cover it, but
That's not going to work.
Yeah.
Now, was it songs from
Self-Sourcing?
See, that's an excellent album. How many
Thanks, mate.
times now have you been nominated for the RF?
Our nominations, if you include the Skid House compilation DVD, would number 7.
7?
Out of which we've won once.
Only once.
Rodney. Well, this is the thing. I think Rodney actually is probably. I think he's been nominated every year that we have as well, and some more before that too. So I'm, there, but for the grace of God, go on.
I'm actually, it's my one sort of big note. I'm actually the record holder for winning that particular award.
Really? How many?
Well, I've won 4.
You've got 4 arias, Tone.
For Best Comedy Album was 3 with...
You could make a crown out of them.
I could.
You could prop your car up on them.
Walk around with
They're too dangerous. I will not have them in the house. Because, as I say, you'll fall over and skewer yourself, and that's all you'll be remembered
Yeah,
for.
very true.
Man spiked by own accolade. But no, there's 3 with Mick Malloy and then 1 with the D-Generation before Mick was in there. So technically it's 4.
Well, yeah, but as a comedian, it's how many times you lose that
Yeah, that's right.
carries the most weight.
Always striving for quantity. But hey, it's always been a cue to play Dobbin and Nerd. Hang on. Something from the Marsland collection.
That's nerd funk right there. That and the Doctor Who theme.
You won't find that on Scott Edgar and the Universe, a fine new album in the shops now. What would we find in your record or DVD collection that would instantly target you as a nerd, Scott Edgar?
I had a huge passion for movie soundtracks when I was a youngster, and these aren't necessarily classic movie soundtracks either.
Right.
I, for example, had on 12-inch vinyl the entire Karate Kid series.
Oh,
the
that's
movie soundtracks.
That's fair enough.
Oh, look, hey. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever take you down. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Everyone knows the words.
I know that one.
Everyone was miming along.
You get the Glory of Love in the Karate Kid soundtrack.
That was good on number 2.
Second one.
Yeah, and Cruel Summer by Bananarama.
There you go.
Fantastic.
I think the Lost Boys soundtrack kicked it off. That's actually quite a fair effort, the Lost Boys soundtrack. That's some great
Good stuff on there.
Yeah, I had the Rambo 2 soundtrack.
Yeah.
Just punches in the face. Set to music
it's
for an hour.
incidental music. So unless you're actually watching the movie, it doesn't make a whole lot of musical sense.
What
at all.
about the soundtrack to Dr. Detroit by Devo?
I didn't have that one.
That'd be the jewel of the
Well, hang
crown.
on. Remember, what do we talk when we say Devo talking films?
Yeah.
Scott Edgar, what was the film that Devo did all of the music for, apart from Dr. Detroit?
Trivia.
Any ideas?
I'm going to have to go with Mr. Mum.
Would have been amazing. No, given a real minimalist feel. No, Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise.
Really?
Soundtrack by Devo.
Wow.
Well, and Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo continues to do all the music for the Wes Anderson films and also for Rugrats.
Whoa. Okay, have we lost everyone, do you think?
Can I dob him in for dobbing a nerd?
Yeah, go outside and call up, please. That's how it works. You have to just call up and tell it, dob in someone else or yourself who's exhibiting nerd-like behaviour. Now, people don't have to look like nerds to be involved in nerd-like behaviour. If you've alphabetised your DVDs by director name, as I have, then I think you're in nerd country.
Well, Tone, I spent all afternoon yesterday getting my Super Nintendo to work.
Oh, yeah.
Just so I could play Super International Cricket.
Fantastic.
Tell you what, it's paying off.
Fantastic. What did you have to do?
Well, you got
to
to
make it talk to the telly? Is
No,
that the
you got
problem?
to tune it in an RF cord,
Yeah.
right? But I noticed that what was happening, Scott, is
Yeah.
that it wasn't registering the RF. Now, this can require 2 bits of remedial attention, either a jiggle on the cord at
Yeah,
the back,
sure,
but
or-
then you have to spend all night jiggling,
Holding it.
Yeah.
or the old classic, spit on a tissue, rub it through the Super Nintendo to get the gunk off it. That's
Lovely.
what did it.
Okay. So jiggle it or spit on a tissue are the 2 options there.
A lot of people are dobbing me in as a nerd, Scott, because I mention occasionally on here that I still have laser discs, and people are saying, when are you going to get behind Blu-ray or HD DVD? Now, See, I don't know whether this is nerd versus geek country, but I don't really care what the system is. I'm concerned about what's on the DVD itself. You know, worrying about HD or Blu-ray, that's like worrying about the frame of the picture. Let's talk about the picture itself. What are the extras? What are the special features? What are the deleted scenes?
Blade Runner Director's Cut 8 is coming out soon, I believe.
This is why I'm hanging on to Laserdisc, not because it's superior technology. It's not. But you can't get the Criterion commentary track on Taxi Driver.
I know, Tone.
On DVD.
No, I know.
You can't get the Spinal Tap commentary track where they're as themselves, not as the characters.
Yeah.
Just listen.
No.
Nobody left out there at all.
You even lost me then, Tone.
But see, that's
First
why
time ever.
It's not the technology, it's the content.
I know, Tone.
That makes me not throw away the Laserdisc player. Do you have anything like that, Scott? Old school technology at your house that you refuse to dump?
Oh, we've got, video games up the yin-yang as far as old systems is concerned
What do you got?
and so forth. Nintendo 64. Quite a lot of stuff going on there.
Mario Kart?
Oh, of course.
Sorry.
Hello.
I'm sorry to insult you.
Of course, Mario
I didn't
Kart.
see your tattoo when I asked you, you know.
That's a similar thing when they try and sell you sound systems.
Yes.
They turn it up really loud, and that's meant to tell you that they're good speakers.
Exactly.
You know, it's a similar thing. It's like, anyway.
Go on, no, it's just for how many years you couldn't buy a television without some guy going, mate, I'll put True Lies on, wait till you hear this. It's not all going to be explosions.
No, it's not, Tone.
Ah, yes. Is this part of the air break or is this our show?
This is our show now.
Oh, okay, it's Dobbin and Nerd here and get this. Around the nation on Triple M. Scott Edgar is here. You may know him from Tripod or Scott Edgar in the Universe, album in the shops now.
Well, can I just stop you there and say it's on iTunes now?
Is it?
Yeah, but it's not in the shops yet.
Okay, that's fairly nerdish.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard. Who's on the line, Ed?
G'day, Ben.
How you going?
Good, thanks. Dobbin and Nerd.
Oh, myself.
What are you doing?
I have various video game soundtracks, including that Mario one you just played just then.
Wow. Tell me, Ben, let's settle this once and for all. I maintain that is from the original Nintendo Entertainment System version of Mario. Is that right or not?
That's from the original, sounds to me.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm glad we're tidying up these unfinished storylines before we sign off in 4 weeks.
Hey, are you going to go and see? There's an orchestra touring, isn't there? Who's playing all video
I think it
games?
already has, I think.
Oh, they've been and gone?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you go to the gig?
No, unfortunately, I couldn't get there.
Oh,
I'm in
Get out of the
Albury, so I
house,
couldn't
Ben.
get there.
All right, fair enough. Well, nice to talk to you,
I
sir.
hope the orchestra were all sort of moving Space Invaders style.
One bit by bit.
One seat over and then speeding up. I don't know. I wasn't there.
They may well have been. Thank you, Ben. G'day, Neil. How are you?
G'day. First of all, I have to say I'm very disappointed that you guys are going to be off the air.
That's all right, Neil.
It means I have to go back to work for 2 hours every day.
Oh, what a pain in the ass.
It is.
Terrible fate. Dobbin and Nerd, my friend.
Anyway, my friend is a very big fan of Mr. Edgar's fine work.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
He
Your friend is?
My friend. It's not me. It's not me.
Fair enough.
Okay.
He likes to download philosophy lectures from the internet and listen to them on his iPod.
Yeah.
What if you lose your iPod in the woods? Does it still make a sound, Neil?
I'm not sure about that. I'll have to check with him next time I see him.
Are they sponsored? Is it Philosophy Podcast brought to you by Slate Bourbon?
Could be. I've never asked. I've never gone that far into his mind, you know.
Well, fair enough. Thank you, Neil. Well dobbed in.
Thank you.
Nice talking to you. G'day, Craig. How are you?
My mate, let's just call him Keith,
Okay.
he still plays this game on a Commodore 64 with remember the ones where you had to load with a little tape?
Oh, yeah.
I spent most of my childhood waiting for that tape to load, Craig.
The game's called Super Huey, and he does it whilst listening to the theme from Apocalypse Now.
Flight of the Tiny Valkyries.
That is amazing. Well, at least he's not still playing Big Sleaze 2, Dennis Through the Drinking Glass, or my favourite game on Commodore 64, which was called Decliner Hobbit.
Okay, beautifully done, Craig, but I think Ed Cavalier is in the lead at this point. More dobbies.
Hi, Dane. How are you?
Doing myself in.
What are you doing?
I have a 3,000 point Tyrannid army for Warhammer 40k.
Yeah! Dane, can I ask, what are you doing here talking to us? Surely you don't have time for this call?
Surely you should be out kicking ass.
I kick major miniature ass.
And tell me, Dane, are they scared of you? Like when you roll into play and you've brought your 3,000 point army, is that pretty much a lay down misere? Are you going to win no matter what?
They crap their pants when they see my winged high tyrant.
Well, I'm scared just hearing about him.
How does it work, though? If you rock up with a 3,000-point army and someone's brought theirs and it's like a 75.1, I mean, how is that even fair?
Yeah.
Like, is there some system?
Yeah, there is a system.
Oh, maybe we shouldn't go.
No,
into
I
it
was
now.
going to say.
Okay, that'll be podcastable within the hour.
Xander, how are you?
I once knew a guy who, when he bought a new appliance or something, would go through the instruction booklet and highlight all the spelling and grammatical errors, then mail it back to the company so they could fix the problem.
So, when did you know me, Xander? Really? No, I think that's great.
I think it's racist, personally.
Oh, wow, yeah. I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Correcting other people's English, you know?
It's not right, is it?
They'll come to our country with their instruction booklets. The least we can do
is just let him make the odd mistake.
Where is that man now, Xander?
I don't know, actually. He's lost in the history of my past somewhere.
I think his name's Christopher Pine. I think he's in the federal parliament somewhere, isn't he?
It wouldn't surprise me.
All right, thanks, Xander, and thanks for your support over the last 2 years as well, sir.
Thanks for the show, guys.
All right.
Thanks for the memories.
We'll be round to do it in person in 4 weeks' time, going door to door, alphabetically. I think that was a bad
That's nice.
idea.
Yeah.
Now, guys, according to my rundown, it's time to play Neighbours Plot or Not.
Yes.
It's been a bit shambolic lately.
Well, let's just cut that out.
Well, the theme songs, how poor have the theme songs been? Come on.
Look, they've been on the hop, as I would say. On the hop is the word. But Tony, what have you done? Every time I ask you to sing a song, it's always that All Together Now nonsense.
Everyone loves the All Together Now theme.
Not the way you sing it. People like the John English version. Richard, you bring poor George Harrison's at best.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'll do a new one. How does the actual Neighbours theme go, Rich? How does that start?
Is it? It's everybody needs good. Everybody needs good.
Everybody needs good. Everybody needs good. Everybody needs good. Everybody needs good. Everybody needs good. Everybody needs good. Everybody needs good. Everybody needs good. Everybody needs good neighbours. Everybody needs good neighbours.
I'll stop the love that I have.
With a little understanding, we can find the perfect blend.
Baby, it's real.
Neighbours, they should be there.
It's so real.
For one another. That's when neighbours become good friends and then someone falls off a cliff. I never thought that I would be going the kind of shows that you would be showing. The way you do that Ramsey Street voodoo. I'm glad I moved here from East Tiawamutu. Neighbours Plot or can't you see Tony? Neighbours Plot or Harold started chroning. Neighbours Plot or coffee shops exploded. Neighbours Plot or Mrs. Mangle's loaded. Neighbours Plot or not? You decide what. It usually goes quite shabbily, 'cause I'm Edward Cavalier. Neighbours Plot, Neighbours Plot or not? Come on, Ed, show us what you got. You're our world, our hopes and dreams. It can't be as easy as it seems. Neighbours Plot, Neighbours Plot or not? Neighbours Plot, Neighbours Plot or not? I don't know. That's obviously just off the top of my head.
Not bad. Thanks, Barry. What? See you, Barry.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Look at that.
Thanks for everything, bro.
He pops in from time to time.
Amazing how you were still singing then and talking, Tone.
Yeah, well, it's circular breathing does that. I think you're fine.
Okay, well, thanks for the world's most elaborate setup to the world's worst segment.
Not really time for the segment according to my schedule.
Well, we're going to press on regardless.
Okay, a couple of questions.
Okie dokie. For those who haven't played this before, bad luck. You're going to have to hear it now. And basically, there's plots of the neighbours each show. Whoa.
Yeah, I think probably people have worked it
Yeah,
out by now.
Let's just crack on, shall we? Richard.
Oh, yes.
You're going first. Faced with a terrible choice, the blonde one finds solace in Toadie and Bacardi Breezes. Can she ever recover from what they did to her poor defenceless fringe?
Well, the word solace sounds like a TV Week word that perhaps wouldn't drift through the transom if you were writing it. But I might say it's an Ed Cavalier.
True. Well done, Rich. Well done. Well done. Okay, Tone, ready?
Yeah, okay.
Carl, Alan Fletcher, below left, continues to try and console a distressed Susan, but the Ramsey Street mum couldn't hate herself more.
Call me Miss Marple, but the presence of the phrase below left suggests it's real neighbours.
Correct, Tony Martin, correct.
All right.
It's all tied up. I've only got 3, so someone's going to miss out. Okay. Richard, ready?
Sure.
Don't look because you'll be able to tell.
Okay.
Who's the hot new biped that's got tongues a-wagging? What with their upright walking and command of language? Hot dog! Miranda and Susan can hardly hold themselves back.
Bipeds, hey?
Yeah.
Not a David Attenborough rundown. Look, I'm going to go with Neighbours Plot because I think, are they still quadruped this week or they're biped?
Incorrect, my friend. They're all pachyderm all week.
Sacked in badly.
That's it.
That is it for Neighbours Plot. Neighbours Plot of the hot. Neighbours Plot. Neighbours Plot of the hot. Neighbours Plot. Neighbours Plot. Thank you.
Wanna touch you down by the fire. Let's get a rug, take off your gear. Whoa, yeah. No one's home. No one's get. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the exact words of the original by Barry White.
I got carried away. Anyway, there's a lovely postscript to that. He was very mean about Neighbours there with the old Richard.
Yeah.
Thankfully, though, I recorded some audio in the office this morning. He was just, well, we were talking Daniel McPherson.
Oh, yeah, he loves Daniel McPherson.
Well, I don't know. I wasn't sure of what his position was.
Oh,
right?
really?
And I said to him, Richard, what's your position on Daniel McPherson? And this is what he said. I'm Richard, and heaps of magazines tell me that Dan McPherson is hot, so I believe them now. How many Bratz dolls do you have? I've got 50.
Okay.
Unquote. Why do you always announce your name, Richard? We know who you are by now. It says so on your T-shirt for starters.
Exactly. I can't help the Macs, you know. I got McConaughey and McPherson.
Yeah.
And McSteamy and McDreamy. And McCreamy.
Okay.
Who's
love it.
McCreamy?
Oh, well.
Let's find out next. I'll get this.
Get this at the new time of 2 o'clock.
Or in Adelaide, 3 o'clock.
On the Triple M Network.